Hey guys, um, today is July 28th, 2019, and I'm up at Hilltop 91. Of course, today is Sunday. I've been up here since Friday. Had a few people up here with me, um, but so we'll start at the beginning here. Um, the last trip that I was up here, that I had my grandson up here, and when my grandson had his sighting, really, you're gonna focus out on me? Um, this might drive me nuts. But so anyway, up here last trip with my grandson and Chuck was up here with me and or us. And when I first got up here, uh, there was some other people camping in here and so I was a little leery whether I was actually going to stay in here or move over to a different location. And so I decided to stay here. Um, And once Chuck got here, we went over and talked to him, because you know we didn't want him to, be blindsided by what we were doing up here, sitting in the dark and talking out loud, to the forest people, and but anyway, so we went over and introduced ourselves and come to find out they'd been camping in this location for 25 years, which really piqued Chuck and myself's interest. And Chuck had asked him, have you had anything interesting happen, or while you're camping out here? And it was like, well, no, not really. Like what? Like Bigfoot stuff and so it was like, yeah, well, because that's what we're up here doing. We're doing Bigfoot research. And so the conversation kind of continued on with that, and that at that moment it was like, no, we never really had anything strange happen out here, and so we talked to him for a little bit, and one of the things that Chuck had brought up that that really piqued the interest of the wife, Kathy. It's Robin Kathy. Um, was that Chuck was explaining to him, they do a lot of really little subtle things, and have because they had a quad there, and he says, like, have you ever come out and found a flower sitting on your quad, on the seat? And it was pretty interesting because Kathy was taken back by that, and she was like, well, as a matter of fact, yes. Never known who's done it. I figured it was one of the boys or somebody else that they were up camping with. But so it really captured her, and so we talked for just a little bit longer, and Chuck had given them one of their business cards, and I told them about my YouTube channel, and if they ever had the time to go check it out. Fast forward, Rob had contacted me through my email, which is listed on the channel as my contact information, and so we talked for a little bit, and he had a lot of questions. That their drive back home, he said, was real interesting. The conversation was pretty much dominated by what we had brought up to him, and so Rob and I decided, we'll go ahead and meet up. He doesn't live too far from me. We live basically in the James same general area, and so he wanted to know if Chuck would meet up with him, and so we set up a date, and Chuck and I met him at their house, and we had a lovely conversation for about 4 hours, and had a bunch of questions, and I don't know how well that at that point in time that I satisfied or Chuck satisfied any of their questions, because you know I I don't have a lot of answers for what's going on. I have my own hypothesis. I have my own ideas on who and what the forest people are. But to be absolute dogmatic about it, to give a definite answer, I just don't have them. I do the best I can, with my experiences, and so the meet went really well, and I was very happy that we were invited into their lovely home, and yes, they have a very beautiful home. And so then I got a text message from Rob saying that he was thinking about coming back up here this weekend, and wanted to know if I might be interested in coming up if I was free. And well, me, chance to get up on the mountain, and it just happened to be a weekend that I don't have any grandkids' birthdays or so forth and so on. And so we came up here, and I also got a hold of Chuck, and Chuck agreed to come up. So we all met up here on Friday, and just kind of sitting around talking, and trying to do our best to answer questions. And yeah, it's really hard to answer questions when your own questions aren't being answered. Because about every question I end up with, or that I think I've answered, I end up with about 5 more questions. And so it gets to the point where I just quit asking questions, and I just accept the experience for what it is. Um, there's a lot of things about this. It I haven't mentioned him very often in my videos, and because this is my own thing. But there isn't another researcher up in the Pacific Northwest that I tend to agree with primarily everything that he says, because I've experienced everything that he says, minus a couple little things, and like a portal. I may have seen a portal. I can't be dogmatic about it. But Dr. Matthew Johnson, Team Squatching USA, and I've read his book and watched a lot of his videos, and there's a lot of people that may may react to this video negatively, and I don't give a shit. I know what I know. I know what I've experienced. I know what I'm seeing, hearing, feeling. It's undeniable. And it's not just myself that is experiencing this. There are so many others out there. So once again, like I've stated in so many of my videos, if you're going to call yourself a researcher and you're going to be intellectually honest about your researcher, you have to let go of your own personal ideas. And if the evidence is leading you in a direction, your experiences are leading you in a direction, that's where you have to go, whether you think it's bullshit or not, whether you think it's possible or not. That's something you have to get over. And it's apparent a lot of people have a hard time getting over that. And maybe it's ego, not willing to listen to what so many of us are talking about. So anyway, enough of that rant. Get back to where I was going. So we got ready to do our night sit, and just as it started to get dark and we were starting to get just some real light, mild activity, another camper came into the area, and they camp back over behind us here, probably about 150 yards away or what have you. I had their truck light headlights on while they're setting up and flashlights, and it was just lighting the entire area up, and it was like, come on, guys. But once again, like I say, the forest is free, and everybody has the right to be out here and experience the forest and the wilderness. And I don't care if you're on the East Coast or in the South or up in Alaska, or it doesn't matter where you are. People have the right to be out here and do their own thing, even though it is a little aggravating when trying to get some things accomplished out here, so I was a little upset about it, and so was Chuck, because we're really hoping for Rob to get this this really killer experience up here. And so it finally went dark over at their camp, and about 15 minutes after their really hello, don't blur on me. What is this? I'm right here. Sorry about this, folks. Having a little bit of an electronic issue. We'll set this back down and try it again, and hope for. Don't know why that did that. Might know why, but don't know why. So the activity started to pick up, and had seen a couple of twinkle lights. I was pretty convinced that I had seen, what I call the shimmering image. It's a distortion of light. You look to the right, everything's clear. You look to the left, everything's clear, but at dead center, it's all blurred out. And sorry. So we were having some decent activity, but it wasn't anything real spectacular. Not anything what I was hoping Rob, get off me, fly. What we were hoping Rob was going to get to experience, and I knew it was getting ready to start off really good, but these other campers came in and kind of put a damper on the experience for Friday night. But Rob did get to feel a little bit of a tingling running up the back of his legs and up his back, and got cold. I'd got zapped kind of lightly a few times, and so did Chuck, and we were talking to the forest people, because they definitely were there. They just weren't being real active because of this other camp. So we stayed up for a while, and had some more light activity going on, but just not what I was hoping for. So we ended up calling it a night. I don't know, about 11:30 or something like. Oh, wait a minute! No, I got to back up. Can't believe I almost forgot about this. As we were sitting there, in one of my crates, which was on the opposite side of my tent from where we were sitting at, I had my cast iron skillet in there, and we were sitting there and having our conversation, and the crate got moved, and that skillet fell over, and it was pretty loud. And then just a couple minutes after that, I've got a tarp up over my tent, because when it first got up here, there was some rain, and I don't like being wet. But the tarp that is A-framed over my tent got shook pretty good, and so that was right on. But I'm sure there was a few more things that happened that is escaping me at the moment. But So the first night, it was a good night. We had activity, just not at the level I was hoping, and hello, I'm right here. Thank you. There's nobody else out here with me. I don't know why this is jumping Zoom. Hmm. But shit, now I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, um, that is mighty peculiar why my phone is zooming. I don't think there's. The wind's not blowing, branches aren't moving. I don't understand what it's trying to focus in on. And shouldn't do that. I got to check some settings, and because this is aggravating the hell out of me. I'll be back with part 2 of this. Peace out.